Hello students, today we will take the concept of superconductivity or the superconductors. As you know that we have studied three types of the metals as far as their conductivity is concerned. One is the conductor, second one is the semiconductor, and third one is the insulator. Now, some metals and alloys show almost zero resistance or infinite conductance when cooled to sufficiently low temperature. Means at a sufficient low temperature, these metals have very high conductivity. It means very low resistivity because these two phenomena are reciprocal to each other. The specimens are called superconductors and the phenomena is known as the superconductivity. This sufficiently low temperature at which a conductor becomes a superconductor is known as critical temperature or transition temperature of the specimen. So how can you define the critical temperature or transition temperature? It is that temperature below which a conductor starts to behave like a superconductor. Means below this temperature its resistivity becomes almost zero and its conductivity becomes very high, or theoretically you can say infinite. Practically it is not infinite, but theoretically you can say that its conductivity becomes infinite. Now, before studying the concept and the mechanism of the superconductivity, let us study some terms which are related with the superconductors, and these are: first one is the infinite conductivity. When a specimen is cooled to a temperature below its critical temperature, the resistivity of the sample becomes zero and the sample behaves like a superconductor. Measurements show that resistance should decreased by a factor of 10 raised to power 17. That is, when the resistance is decreased by a factor of 10 raised to power 17, then the conductor behaves or may behave like a superconductor. It means the conductivity, which is denoted by sigma, becomes infinite at this temperature or below this temperature. X-ray study reveals that there is no change in the crystal structure at this temperature. Please remember that there is no change in the crystal structure below this critical or transition temperature. Only the conductivity or conductance nature of the metal or conductor changes. Second one is the Meissner effect. That is very important effect. What is this effect? Meissner in 1931 noted the effect of temperature upon the magnetic field, which is known as the Meissner effects. So what is the Meissner effect? It is the effect of temperature on the magnetic field. Okay. According to this effect, if a sample is first cooled to a temperature below its critical temperature, making it a superconductor. Now, if this sample is now placed in magnetic field, the magnetic flux lines will not penetrate the sample as shown in the figure. So, what we have done here? We have just cooled a conductor below its critical or transition temperature, and then this sample is placed in a magnetic field. What we observe? We observe that the magnetic flux is repelled by this sample, which is clearly shown in the below figure. In figure, you see that there is a semiconductor where its temperature is more than its critical temperature, which is shown by T is greater than Tc. Now, this sample is cooled so that now T becomes less than Tc, means its temperature becomes low or below than the critical temperature. Now, then it is placed in a magnetic field H, and when it is placed in a magnetic field H, we observe that most of the magnetic lines of force are passing away from it. That is, it repel the magnetic field. Now, on the other hand, if the sample is first placed in a magnetic field, now we have adopted the reverse process. What we have done? Now the sample is first placed in a magnetic field, then the magnetic flux lines penetrate. Definitely, because the temperature is room temperature, so most of the lines are penetrating the sample. And if now this sample is cooled to a temperature below its critical temperature, now what we are doing? Now we are cooling the specimen below its critical temperature or transition temperature. Then the magnetic lines of force are pushed out from the sample. Means now the magnetic lines of force which were passing initially through the sample, now they are pushed out below this critical temperature. This effect is known as the Meissner effect, and this phenomena is shown in the figure. In figure, we are seeing that first the sample is at the room temperature where its temperature is higher than the critical temperature. Then a magnetic field is applied on it. On application of the magnetic field, we see that maximum magnetic lines of force are passing through it. Now, we have cooled this sample below its critical temperature. Now we see that the magnetic lines of force which were passing through it, now they have been pushed out. Means now again there is a repulsion of the magnetic field. It means on applying the magnetic field upon a superconductor, it is observed that the superconductor becomes diamagnetic. As we know, what is the property of diamagnetic substance? That a diamagnetic substance repel the magnetic lines of force, and the same phenomena we are observing here. This effect is known as the Meissner effect. So this diamagnetic character is much higher than that of the normal diamagnetic substance. In a normal diamagnetic substance, not all the magnetic lines of force are repelled, or you can say that the force of repulsion is not very high. But in the case of superconductor, this diamagnetism is at its peak. That is, it is at its highest value. Thus, a superconductor is a perfect diamagnetic. So you can call the magnetic property of the superconductor is that it is a perfect diamagnetic which observe the repulsion of the magnetic lines of force when it is placed in a magnetic field. So this is sufficient for today. On next turn we will see other phenomena of the superconductors. That is sufficient. That's all.